Here we go. Moving into week number 2, and Jason, Bears moved to 1-0 Friday night at home against West Liberty, and it was a dogfight, just like we knew it would be, but the Bears came out on top, and I really think when you look at it, all 3 phases came to play. All 3 phases played well, and that's why the Bears came out on top Friday night.
They did. You get those little stats. People don't look at special teams that much, but, man, look at halftime. You guys talked about it on the Bearcast. Talked about at halftime, the average field position for West Branch, they started at their own 48, so basically at midfield. West Liberty started 83 yards away on average. West Liberty had almost 300 yards of offense. West Branch only had about 130, yet they were ahead 21-14. Means their defense was playing well enough to pin West Liberty deep and not let them get in the end zone that much. And the special teams, Bo Cornwell had a really good night. Punny had 2 coffin corner kicks, another kick that wasn't great, but it bounced about 15 yards. So everything's in special teams. And when your special teams play well, you usually win. We'll talk about that in a second.
Well, and it helps because it took some of that pressure off of the defense and the offense with some of these young guys, some of these newer faces into that lineup. And I think as you saw that game progress, the first quarter, maybe a little bit of timidness. Yeah. They were a little unsure of themselves. They started to get a little more confidence, and really after halftime, they came out completely different team, it seemed like. They were a lot more confident, a lot more physical and aggressive, and really that's why they were able to slow West Liberty down for much of that second half.
Basically, you look at Joe Kelly. We talked about how he was going to be a fantastic back, and he was. I mean, at halftime he had 190 yards. The second half, the first 4 carries, he was a negative yardage. The Bears came, started filling the gaps, started breaking down and making their tackles, and you're right. The younger kids, I think after the first quarter, they got their jitters, they got their sea legs about them and began to play well. Second half only gave up 130 yards of offense. So from 290 to 130, a little different game plan. Coach Hirschman had a really good offensive play in the second half, and it all came to fruition. The Bears went to 1-0.
And they look to move to 2-0. A tough task coming down to a 3A school in the form of West Burlington Notre Dame and the Falcons. Nice little rivalry we've had these last few years with them, and we've had some back-and-forth ball games. Dropped it at the Little Rose Bowl last year, and luckily, number 28 got a different name there.
He's not quite whoever it is, no offense to the kid, is not going to be as fast. We probably saw the fastest kid in Iowa last week against West Liberty and Tanner Iskey. We've been able to say that for 3 years, Stephen, how West Burlington, Isaiah Trauzo, is the fastest kid at the high school level. He's graduated. Best wishes to him at UNI, playing football and running track up there. But you talked about special teams. I said we'd get back to that. Last year, the story of that game really was special teams. West Branch's offense put up over 300 yards, gave up less than 200, and still lose a football game because West Burlington's special teams, you go back and watch the film, they were starting at midfield basically on their returns every single drive. And when you do that, you have short fields, you're going to score points. It happened for West Branch last week. New look, a little different on offense this year without him, but the quarterback is back, Drake Day. He really hurt us last year. Made some really good downfield throws to Tanner Snodgrass, his brother Tate, another great football player, graduated last year. They also graduated their all-state, 3-year all-state linebacker, Luke Shipley, graduated. The one guy that's back for them you got to keep your eye on is Landon Greer. He's not going to make any offensive plays, but he's going to, with the ball in his hands, but he's going to make a lot of blocks, and he gave our defensive line fits last year. Yeah. Strong player that we're going to have to, you need to watch him. If you watch it, whether you watch it now or you watch it later, you need to keep your eye on 74.
Yeah, he is a talent, 6'4", 270, real athletic. He had an interception last Friday night against Mediapolis, and he was thinking 6, I think, but got tripped up after about 10 or 12 yards on the return. But, this West Burlington team, we joke that Trousel's not there, but, I mean, they've been one of the best track teams in the state. So, they're going to have somebody that fills in. And, you mentioned Drake Day, too, and I'm scratching my head, his stats from last week. He 20% completion or something. And
5 out of 22 or something like that. Yeah.
That's not Drake Day. And I said, that almost concerns me because that he's not going to have another game like that here tonight or this week.
Was he slow rolling? I mean, not to lose the game, but you saw that he did finally. Last year, he was spreading the ball out a bit to the Snodgrass brothers. If when in doubt, throw it to one of them. They'll probably make the play. But this year, they brought in Danville, came in and joined the program this year. And Darius Whaley, who was at Danville after last week, caught 3 of the 5 passes that he completed. Seems to be their big play guy, 3 catches for about 50 yards. That seems to be his new connection. But running back, Brian Brem, number 44. I said it, he's kind of a poor man just because of his stature. He reminds me a little bit of Trent Johnson from Dyke New Horpert, same number. Really small. You can't pick him up right away, and he gets square to the line quickly. They may not have not open in the same amount of holes that we saw from Dyke, New Hartford, but if it's there, he hits it and he zips. And he's tough to bring down. It's like he's got that grease pig look. When you get to him, he's so small, it's tough to bring the kid down. He runs hard. So, but they like a lot of short passes. Steven, you talked before we got on about they love getting their short pop passes to the tight end, anything in the middle, some open space to try to get their playmakers the football.
And then defensively, and we've seen this for the last several years, they run that 3-5, and it's a defense that is really designed to be aggressive. It's designed to be slanting, looking for basically every gap they're sending somebody through. And it's a situation where basically what their philosophy is, we're going to disrupt things so badly and make a play in the backfield that you don't have a chance to even think about your own offense. We're going to be that quick, that aggressive, and that's what the Bears' offense is going to have to overcome. It's
like planes coming in LaGuardia in New York City. They're coming from every direction on blitz here, blitz there, blitz here, blitz there, filling gaps outside. It's a pretty stout defense when you've got the athletes like they do with the track thing. They do. They've got the speed to fill those holes, and the only way you can beat that, you got to get quick hit plays. You got to misdirection plays to try to get away from it. Last year, they being the Falcons did a really good job of stopping the Bears and stopping Luke Lennox last year. That was his only game under 100 yards rushing. He had 23 carries for, I think, 78 yards against them last year. That was his, and he even broke the school record in rushing with that total. But it was the worst total he had of the whole season. So their defense is stout. And if the 3-5 comes to play, it's sneaky dangerous. So you got to really watch out and make those quick hits. And I think Coach Hirschman's, he's going to have a great game plan. We're not going to give the secrets out, but I think he's got some ideas, not to do anything too spectacular or any too exotics like Hayden Fry would say, just to keep it simple and see how it goes. Try to go helmet on helmet and let's go.
Bears looking to move to 2-0, but after this one Friday night, then that's where it really starts to count as you get back into district play with Jessup coming to town. But the focus is on West Burlington Notre Dame down there, and it's going to be a pretty good contest. So we'll have all the action for you at the Bearcast, westbranchfootball.com. About 7 o'clock-ish, we'll have the pregames coverage starting, depending on when the fresh soft game gets done, and all of the action kickoff at about 7:30 from West Burlington. Mike Quinlan and I and Jason will be on the sideline this week, replacing sideline Jerry.
No District 3 burgers, but I'm going to give it a shot.
We'll still do a food of West Burlington for you. So we'll put it on Jerry's expense account, too. We'll talk to you then. Go Bears.